am here with Trisha Peridot, and we are coming to you today live from my studio in Arizona and Trisha's studio in California to talk to you about step into the spotlight to expand your influence. You've all heard me say this. Step into the spotlight is about you showing up on every platform you possibly can. Why? Because if people don't know who you are, they won't do business with you and you're bankrupt. So I decided to put together a panel of experts. So there's 11 of us. Each one of us do something very different to help people expand their influence. And we all know that that's what Lead Up for Women stands for. But I wanted to go a step even further and write a book about it. So I have 11 authors in this book. I think it's 11 authors in this book. We've all come together and decided, why not do interviews? Why not do a panel? Why not give away free gifts? And why not share everything we know about how each one of us in our own industries of what we work on help others expand their influence? And Trisha, how do you help people expand their influence? Talk to us about how you do that.
Oh, wow. In so many ways, most of my clients, certainly are not in that space where they're ready to hop up on a stage and shout from the rooftops. But boy, do we really work on creating that emotional intelligence that they need so that they can feel confident in their own skin, so that they can lead by the example that they want to be experienced through. So when we have these underlying beliefs, we're just going to go with that. When we have these underlying beliefs that our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our opinions, beliefs, values, whatever, are not seen as being valid or holding much value, we tend to shrink away. Or we're attaching ourselves to tons of things outside of ourselves, just hoping that one of them will bring us, that peace, that joy, that comfort, relief from whatever it is, or even just bring us purpose. Yeah. And so, I help people understand that all of that resides within us. And so if we have a vision of how we want to be received in the world, we have to be walking through that vision. We have to show up as that vision. We have to be heard in that fashion. So, absolutely, I teach people how to do things a little bit differently than a lot, right? Like you hear everybody talking about change your habits, and all of these things. I like to teach people how not to have habits altogether, and really just create a lifestyle that they can be fulfilled through lifelong, that is manageable and maintainable. That was a lot.
No, it's not. I'm so glad you said that, because how we do anything is how we do everything. And if we are always consistently looking for things outside of us to bring us that joy or to bring us what we think we need outside of us, and I talk about this on every platform I can get on, you have to master you before you can master your success. And if anyone thinks I just hopped from corporate America and then just jumped right into entrepreneurship and went, yes, did I just start working my butt off? Yes. Did I hit the ground running? Yes. But let me tell you, I cried almost every day. I struggled so bad with my self-worth because I had never, ever, since I was 8 years old, not had a job. This was the first time I wasn't attached to something that felt worth, meaning I got paid for it. So I had to really dig deep to understand who I was and what I wanted, because I didn't realize how much I was attaching to external things. So what you're talking about on how we expand our influence, Trisha, for us personally, is that we have to go inside and we have to expand our own beliefs first, because believe it or not, we're modeling for so many other people that are watching us.
I'm glad that you said that. Because that's exactly where my head was going, right? Yeah. We're moms, we're grandmothers. Yeah. We are the leading role in our units. And if we're not leading by good example, and I don't mean, telling them and giving them good advice, it's not about the words, it's in action. So if you're sitting there and you're chowing down on the plate of cookies and you're telling the kids they can only have two, like that's not leading by the right example. I'm right, because we
Yeah.
tell kids, no, that's too much sugar for you. You're going to be hyper. I'm not going to be able to handle you, but I'm going to sit here and do, this because I have social anxiety, or I, whatever our reason is for,
Oh yeah.
doing the mouth. And that might not be cookies. It could be a glass of wine, or let me rephrase that, a bottle of wine. It could, it can be whatever it is, but we're leading by example. So we have to be willing to even talk to the kids about that plate of cookies and why they need to only have two, and why I can stop it too, right? Because I don't want to go through life punished or restricted. I
Yeah.
also don't want to have internal guilt either. And so, we have to have this super comfy negotiating system with ourselves, right? I try not to eat a lot of refined sugars, but you know what? If I want to have a cookie, I'm going to have a cookie, but I stop at a cookie. I don't
Eat
eat
10
10.
in the car on the way home from the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-mastery is so important, and when we talk about stepping into the spotlight, it's really metaphorical for someone to realize, like, when are you gonna step out of the shadows, step into your own spotlight, and realize how important your life is? When are you
Mhm.
gonna stop abusing your body, abusing your, blaming outside influences, looking for something outside of you to appease you or bring you the joy or the happiness that you think that you deserve, that you can't find within yourself. And your chapter in your book, which is going to be released on August 11th, the summit that we're having is on July 12th and July 13th. Trisha's she's one of the authors in the book, one of the experts, and she goes and dives in a lot deeper of her story, how she helps her clients. You guys have to sign up for this. It's free, because she's going to give away a bunch of gifts. Her and all the 11 experts are giving away gifts for each one of you to take those and apply them to your personal life and your business. And there's so many topics. Monetizing your message from stage for those that are on stages and are ready. The other ones are about self-care and understanding how to take care of yourself first. Trisha works with so many clients on addictions and things that we look for outside of ourselves that are hurting us. They're not helping us. They're killing us, actually. And when we realize how happy we can be with who we are, what you can do is just infinite with that, right?
Yeah. And anybody wants to take a space for observation, we're here live just a couple days before what? A holiday weekend. And this one's going to be an extended holiday weekend because we're all going to want to start on Friday and we have Monday off. So observe yourself. Observe yourself. See how you start out. See how you run out of that gate like gangbusters. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to, whatever it is, right? Like however you jam pack your weekend with whatever it is. And then look at how you feel at the end of it. And if it's not recharged, refreshed, and fulfilled, you did something wrong. I'm just saying.
I
I'm
love that
just
because
saying.
we're going to the beach, because I like to put my feet in the sand. And I told my husband, if there's one thing that rejuvenates me, that makes me feel the best and alive, is just becoming one with either nature, which we can't do here because the whole, state of Arizona is on fire, or putting my feet in the sand. And so we decided we were going to go to the beach because I just love the energy from the water. I always feel so serene and calm when I'm near the water. And so, what are you going to do for yourself this weekend, on this 4th of July weekend, where you can choose, because we have the freedoms, right? As people and as individuals, we have the freedoms to choose what we put into our bodies. We have the freedoms to choose what we do with our bodies. We have the freedom to choose how we treat our bodies. And we have the freedom to choose anything that we do in life. And what are you going to do with the freedoms that are offering you? Are you going to create a healthy lifestyle for yourself so that you can be the model for the next generation? Or are we going to continue this obesity rising and drinking, alcoholism rising? Is this what we're modeling for our children? Because if it doesn't change, then the generations and generations after that are going to continue to be modeled, which is insanity because we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And Trisha,
100%.
your
It's
story goes into so much of how you changed your life. That's why I'm encouraging everyone to sign up for this, because not only your story is amazing, but so many of the other experts, but you really go into a lot more detail and give away some gifts to help people now for them to apply them
right now. Yeah, absolutely right now. And I think, even if you don't want to sit and observe yourself, observe how you experience your environment. Pay attention to how irritated, agitated, and annoyed you get with the busier, with all the, the people that might be infiltrating your area, right? Because people are traveling. I
Yeah.
know, my area is always really busy on holiday weekends because people vacation here. I live in a vacation town, right? So, but pay attention to what's the first thing that pops into your head, when somebody's driving slower than you on the freeway, just simple activities of daily living. Look how you might pop into that stance of a judger. And that's going to give you a real indicator of whether you are an externally driven person or an internally driven person. Because if you just simply keep going and la da da, that's their life, then you know what, you're a lot more internally driven. And because you're not the kind of person that can say, oh, you make me this, you make me that. Anyway, observe how you experience your environment.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Trisha, thank you for being with us today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. The link is below. It's a free summit. This gives you the opportunity to be able to learn more about our experts, figure out how can you apply all of these methods into your life and into your business to be able to expand your influence. And let me tell you, I've been doing this for over 20 years and it works. It works. I've seen countless businesses be able to expand their influence by being seen, being heard, and using their voices. So this is a time for you to speak up for yourself, speak up for your business, speak up for your life, because if you don't, no one's going to do it for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when you're reading everything, add, edit, delete. That's all I'm going to say. Just add, edit, delete.
So you got to watch to learn more about what Trish is talking about with add, edit, and delete. All right, you guys, thanks for being with us today. Have a happy 4th of July. Bye-bye now. See ya.